How to think like a genius. Imagine walking into a crowded cafe. Most people would notice the smell of coffee, the chatter, maybe a nice view outside the window. Sherlock Holmes? He'd notice the ink stain on a man's cuff, the scuff marks on his shoes, and the nervous way he taps his fingers, instantly deducing his occupation, recent whereabouts, and emotional state. Sherlock isn't just a great detective, he's a master of thinking itself. His ability to analyze, deduce, and problem-solve is legendary. But what if I told you, you can train your mind to think like Sherlock Holmes? The secret isn't about being a genius, it's about learning how to see the world differently. Let's break it down. The power of observation. Sherlock once said, "You see, but you do not observe." And that is the biggest difference between him and, well, everyone else. Most of us live life in autopilot mode. We see things, but we don't process them deeply. Observation is a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained. How to observe like Sherlock. Slow down. The modern world rushes us through everything. Take 10 extra seconds to truly look at a situation before reacting. Use all your senses. Don't just rely on sight. Listen to tones of voice, notice smells, pay attention to body language. Ask yourself why. Why is that person fidgeting? Why does that book look untouched? Why is that dog barking at only one person? Training yourself to observe details others miss is step 1 to thinking like Sherlock. The science of deduction. Observation is collecting data. Deduction is what you do with it. Sherlock doesn't just see a muddy shoe and ignore it. He connects it to a recent rainstorm, matches it with a train schedule, and figures out exactly where a person has been. How to develop Sherlock-level deduction skills. Look for patterns. People and environments follow patterns. Learn to recognize them. Think backwards. Instead of just seeing what is, ask yourself, how did this get here? What happened before this moment? Eliminate the impossible. Sherlock's most famous rule. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. This is the key to problem solving in business, relationships, and life. Connect the dots, and you'll be ahead of 99% of people. The Mind Palace Technique. Sherlock's Mind Palace isn't just fiction. It's based on a real memory technique used by ancient scholars and world memory champions. It works like this. Picture a familiar place, your home, a school, a street you know. Mentally store information in specific locations. If you need to remember someone's name, imagine it written on your front door. Walk through your mind palace to recall details instantly. With practice, this method can help you remember anything, from people's names to complex ideas. Sherlock may be a genius, but he doesn't always manage his emotions. He even admits it. "My brain is a machine, Watson. It does not have feelings." But here's the truth. Great thinkers master their emotions. Stay curious. Instead of reacting emotionally, ask, what's really happening here? Separate facts from feelings. Just because something feels true doesn't mean it is. Use logic, not impulse. When making decisions, pause. I think like a detective, not a reactor. The Sherlock Mindset. Sherlock Holmes isn't a superhero. He doesn't have superpowers. He has skills, and those skills can be learned. Observation sharpens awareness. Deduction connects the dots. The Mind Palace strengthens memory. Emotional control leads to better decisions. You don't need to solve crimes to benefit from these techniques. In work, in relationships, in everyday life, the Sherlock mindset makes you sharper, more thoughtful, and infinitely more aware. So next time you step outside, don't just look. Observe. You might be surprised by what you've been missing.